Today's video is brought to you by Elgato and the brand new Black Ops 6 Edition gear, including the Black Ops 6 Stream Deck, Wave 3 microphone, and a Wave mic arm for that microphone. Each one of these items also feature in-game rewards, including the Going Live emblem, Settle Down vinyl, and the Time to Game calling card. Visit that link in the description below to learn more and pick up one of these for yourself. These are only available in very limited quantities, and they're going fast. Thank you to Elgato for sponsoring this video. I'd like to talk a little bit about zombies because we got the official blog post today, which is giving us a ton more information about zombies, including our first look at some of the augments and how that's going to work in game, plus some new screenshots. But I want to start with the one thing that I saw the most zombie creators talking about, and that was the overall HUD and how that has changed since we originally saw zombies. So the gameplay you're going to be looking at was recorded long ago by Mr. Dalek JD. Big thank you to him for allowing me to use this gameplay. And you can see that the HUD is pretty bland. It's right in line with what we saw with Modern Warfare Zombies, but people really didn't like this. There's been some pretty big changes, and a lot of which came directly from feedback from our community, including character portraits being added right on back to that HUD element. As you can see here, we have it back in the lower left by default. The general alignment and color adjustments have been made across the entire HUD. Perk icons are now positioned closer together. We have zombie-specific widgets added for certain in-game actions. The team also added in-game Gobblegum reward animations, which I think is nice. And on top of that, they added visibility sliders. This will allow players to fine-tune or completely disable additional HUD elements, including the score feed, medals and notifications, mini-map opacity, weapons and equipment information, and more. Theoretically, meaning you could just have the most, I guess you'd say, theatrical experience by disabling everything and having no HUD elements at all if you really wanted to play that way, kind of like hardcore, which I think is pretty cool. Another complaint that players had back during Call of Duty Next was the way that Liberty Falls looked. It was kind of sterile, it was a little too bright, a little too inviting, if you will. Well, since then, Treyarch has continued to iterate on the look, the feel, and the sound of Liberty Falls. And we got a couple of screenshots here to show how much more moody of a visual tone that Treyarch has applied to this since we last saw it in August. And it's definitely a little darker, a little moodier. In fact, some of these screenshots just make it look a little bit more chaotic, which I think is a nice thing, but obviously it's, hard to tell from just having a couple of screenshots. Once we actually get some gameplay and we're in game, we're experiencing it for ourselves, I think that that's going to be pretty nice. I will say, I'm glad that they didn't go straight up nighttime mode. I was actually pretty happy to see that this map was taking place during the day in, comparison to what we have with Terminus Island taking place kind of around dusk at nighttime. It is still nice to see that we're kind of in a sunset situation, it seems, but we still have plenty of light in order to fight the dead. I appreciate the way that they're going visual storytelling wise, based on some of the screenshots of Liberty Falls and some of these locations. You can definitely see that things are a little more tore up and wrecked than before, especially when you consider we're at the site of an outbreak. It's just something to expect, just total disaster and degradation everywhere. The blog post also gave us new screenshots of Terminus Island, which is looking spookier than ever. I think that this is a really cool looking map. And that's what I really loved originally when we saw Terminus Island, and then we had a chance to see Liberty Falls later. It was really cool to see the distinguishable difference between the two, and the vibe was definitely a much different experience from just watching gameplay. And it looks like that's still the case here, even with the changes that were made with Liberty Falls. But the island is looking fantastic. It used to be a World War II resupply depot. The structures were built as part of a shuttered CIA black site, and there's wealth of discoveries to be made across this island, including many Easter eggs, and I'm sure that there's going to be tons of people searching for those Easter eggs right out the gate. I think some of these screenshots definitely paint a bleak picture in terms of how these prisoners were living, and on top of that, just how many ways there are to navigate this map, including the open water. Remember, boats are, capability here. You're able to use vehicles on this map. This is a larger experience. You're able to swim on this map. So I think that it's going to be cool to see how the zombies interact with all of those different elements, and just exactly what the Easter eggs are going to bring to the table. And I'm telling you, if there's a waterfall on this map, there better be a power-up behind it or some sort of Easter egg, because in video games, if there's a waterfall, the rule is there has to be an Easter egg. That's written in stone at this point. The one thing, though, that I really wanted to talk about from this blog post are the augments that we're going to be seeing for our perks, ammo mods, and field upgrades. There are going to be 108 different augments that we're able to choose from, and you can change them up at the beginning of a match to change how you play in game, depending on what you want to be. So if you wanted to just go in guns blazing and you wanted to do as much damage as you possibly could, depending on the augments that you have unlocked and what you select, you could do more damage than your friend, depending on what they have unlocked. Or perhaps you want to be a healer and be more of a support player for your team. You can do that as well, depending on the augments that you set up. So just a quick recap for those of you that may have missed it. Augments can be unlocked for perks, ammo mods, and field upgrades. And before going into a match, you're able to choose one minor augment and one major augment. And there are 6 augments per each one of these items that exist in the game that you are able to uncover. The energy mine has a bunch of different things that you can see, increasing the detonation count of the duration of the energy mine. The energy mine will split into 3 mines and scatter and detonate 1 time each, increase the max charges by 1. You can also, instead of detonating, the energy mine becomes a turret that will shoot targets 1 at a time. Energy mines will attract nearby normal enemies for a short time, causing them to slow down and keep them in place if you need extra time to get out of danger. And then finally, 3 energy mines will float around you, detonating when an enemy is nearby. And the thing that I love the most about this is it adds so many ways to play. The replay value is going to be through the roof. Energy mines, you don't think much of them because they just detonate, but now they can turn into turrets. Now they can turn into magnets. Now they can actually float around you like a protection barrier. I love that idea. I love the idea of having this new and improved energy mine, something that I really didn't bat an eye at in previous Call of Duty games. Now I'm actually interested in using because of the versatility of it. That's really cool. Let's switch over to Juggernog, the other example that they gave us. The 6 augments include dealing bonus damage while health is low, slightly increase maximum health with Juggernog, armor plates have more damage mitigation, armor acts as a shield on your back, completely absorbing damage to your back, no damage mitigation when hit from the front, slightly increases your armor durability, and finally, when an armor plate breaks, nearby normal enemies are stunned for a short time. Just looking at this really does give the idea that as a player, depending on your level of skill, you could decide whether or not to take that probiotic augment, which gives you a maximum health increase with Juggernog. Maybe you're a really good player and you want to challenge yourself, so you say, I don't want to take that. In fact, I don't want to take any augments whatsoever. I'm just going to go ahead and play the game how it is. You could do that. Or if you're not that good of a player and you need that extra health, or you want to increase your armor durability, you can do that now. You can actively make that selection. The thing in my mind is, I wish we had more augments per thing. I know we have a lot here. There's so much to see and so much we haven't discovered yet, but I'm a huge fan of roguelite games where you can incrementally increase the amount of damage you do every run. You don't have to start completely fresh at the beginning, and the next time you go in, you're actually doing a little bit better than before, or maybe you have another upgrade which changes the entire way that you play next time. That's what I'm seeing here. This is effectively turning zombies into a roguelite, which I think is so damn cool, and I'm excited to jump in and play it this year, for real. It's just going to be so much fun. We are getting 8 perks at launch. That includes Juggernog, Stamina Up, Speed Cola, Deadshot Daiquiri, Quick Revive Soda, Elemental Pop, PhD Flopper, and Melee Macchiato, which is our only new perk at launch, but I'm going to assume that this is going to change moving forward. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. There are so many major augments and minor augments that have been revealed during this blog post. Every single one of them were revealed. So if you want to see every single one of them, I'll put a link down below in the description so you can check them out. Like I said, this is going to be such a fun experience. It's really turning zombies into a roguelite, and I can't wait to unlock these things and use them in-game for ourselves. The one new ammo mod that we're getting is called Shadow Rift, and I wanted to show you the augments on this one. So we got 3 major augments, which include Shadow Rift can activate on elite enemies, Topple Danger, warp one enemy that deals shadow damage to others, and Explosive Rain. Enemies that are dropped from portals will explode on contact with the ground. The minor augments include Haste, Shadow Rift cooldown will be reduced, Targeted, dropped enemies will fall on other enemies, and finally Supermassive, the Singularity's lethal radius is increased and can kill more enemies. This combined with some of those major augments, the supermassive and like explosive rain, those two together are probably going to be so cool to see. And then of course we also have our newest field upgrade, which is called Dark Flare. And those major augments and minor augments sound really cool as well. Major augments include Extension, significantly increase the Dark Flare duration. Supernova, the beam is replaced with a sphere that damages nearby enemies as it travels. The ball detonates at the end of Dark Flare's duration. And then finally we have Dark Pact, the beam heals and revives other players on contact. Minor augments include Broad Beam, significantly increasing the size of the beam. Heavy Shadow, the beam slows enemies on contact. And finally, Extra Charge, increases the max charges by 1. So this can be used in a few different ways if you want to just do straight up damage, or if you want to have the ability to revive and heal. This effectively changes Dark Flare into something that's a little better, kind of in the same sense as like a Healing Aura, which also exists in this game and has its own set of augments. And just like we were saying before, the versatility here, the ways to replay and replay again, the ways to set up your class effectively, I mean, it's going to be different every single time you play, depending on what you're unlocking, what you're customizing, how you want to play, how you want to experience the match that you're going into. And I really do love that. I think that's really cool. But you also got to remember we got Gobblegums coming back, and these are all of the rare, epic, legendary, ultra, and finally the whimsical Gobblegums that are all going to be available at the launch of the game. And as we move through the seasons, I'm sure that we're going to end up seeing even more Gobblegums and more whimsical gums come to the game for everyone to experience. Each one of these will be unlocked by reaching a specific level. The first one being unlocked at level 5, that's Killjoy, and the final one being Hidden Power, unlocked at level 54. So you're really going to have to make it through those ranks before you have access to all of the Gobblegums. They did mention in a blog post that all of the Gobblegums in the game can be earned and or collected. Additional Gobblegums are earned in a variety of ways, including simply playing zombies and surviving rounds. And then they made sure to say, or by purchasing something in a store, in a bundle. So yeah, these are going to be available in bundles as well. I would assume some of those better ultras like Perkaholic, for example, are probably going to be available in bundles. For people that want to have all of their perks directly at the beginning of a match, which who doesn't? I think everybody wants their perks right away and get set up right away. But it is cool to see all these Gobblegums coming back. And that kind of goes into our create a class and how that's going to work this time around. As you can see, we have access to our primary weapon, which we can set it up any way we want. Once again, your primary weapon doesn't necessarily have to be a pistol, but if you want to start with the pistol, you're more than welcome to do so. You can start with an AR, SMG, shotgun, LMG, etc., depending on what you want to play with. And then you have your melee weapon. In this case, it shows a baseball bat, which is pretty cool. Your field upgrade, tactical, lethal, and then the Gobblegum pack that you decide to go in the game with. This loadout image also shows us a camo pattern, which I assume you'll unlock by playing zombies. Looks like Purple Tiger to me. That's pretty cool. And while you're customizing your class, you'll also be able to choose whatever operator you want to play as. And like we discussed before, Treyarch is giving us the opportunity to play as any character we want. So if we bought a store bundle and it was a cool outfit we wanted to use in zombies, you can still do that, but you're not going to be getting as much of an enhanced story experience as you would if you used Carver, Weaver, Gray, or Maya. So you have to use one of those characters, and it will actually show a dedicated crew operator symbol, letting you know that if you use this character, you will be getting an enhanced story experience. If you're using one of the other operators, they won't be involved with the story. They may be saying something about a zombie, but they're not going to be interacting at all with what's happening in the world, other than just taking down zombies, which is, you know, just as fun, in my opinion. Zombies this time around is also going to be featuring a barracks menu giving progression and zombies intel access outside of the game, which is something that we had seen before in Black Ops Cold War. And the fact that it's coming back again is awesome. So I'm really happy that they're doing that. We're going to have a chance to view the audio logs, documents, and artifacts discovered through the exploration of each zombie's map. And just like every other barracks menu, you'll have a chance to look at challenges, weapon camo progression, calling card challenges, hardened challenges, prestige challenges, dark ops challenges, and earn calling cards and XP and all that good stuff, doing all that. So yeah, to say I'm excited, is an understatement. I think that this Zombies is looking really cool this year, and I am looking forward to playing. I am excited to start unlocking these upgrades and just taking down zombies again in a round-based experience, which is what both of these will be at the very beginning of this game's launch. So anyway, that's it. That's all I want to talk about today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe for more. Don't forget to ring the bell icon, join that notification squad, and I will see you all on the next video. Peace.